So recently when I shared my video on 5 questions that always come in a supply chain job interview, one of my followers reached out to me and shared that the toughest question he has experienced is how do you handle sudden disruptions in supply chains? Now, this is not a surprise at all that the recruiters ask this question in supply chain interviews because disruptions are extremely common in supply chains. In fact, every single day you could be facing a new challenge if you are in a supply chain role. So the recruiters want to understand whether you have the skills and the experience to handle such disruptions. So in this video, I will share with you 3 real-life examples, one from e-commerce, one from fast-moving consumer goods or FMCGs, and one from retail that will highlight the importance of problem solving, collaboration, communication, adaptability, and above all, technical expertise in handling such supply chain disruptions. My name is Jamil Hai. I've been working in supply chain management positions across South Asia, Middle East, and North America for the last 20 years. And my mission is to help you build real-life skills for your job and career that they don't teach you in college. So let's find out the best way to answer this question. Now, when you are asked the question, how do you handle sudden disruptions in supply chain? The best way to answer this question is using a real life example. Because you can say a lot of things like your strategy is to collaborate, your strategy is to problem solve, or your strategy is to adapt to the situation. But these can be very, very hollow statements unless they are supported by some very good hard evidence on how you have done this in the past. And therefore, the best way to answer this question is our tried and tested STAR model. Now, if you don't know what the STAR model is, you can watch my video over here. But at a very high level, STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So we are going to follow this structure to provide some tangible real life examples on how you have managed supply chain disruptions. So now let's look at the first example, which is from the world of e-commerce. During the peak holiday season at my previous e-commerce company, we experienced a surge in online orders that exceeded our initial forecasts. The sudden increase in demand put a strain on our fulfillment center's capacity. So this is where you have explained the situation, and now let's move to the task. I was tasked with analyzing the situation and identifying solutions to minimize order fulfillment delays and ensure customer satisfaction. My primary responsibility was to ensure a smooth customer experience despite the unexpected demand surge. Now let's move to the action. First, I collaborated with the sales and marketing teams to understand the potential reasons for the higher than anticipated order volume. We discovered a successful influencer marketing campaign had driven significant traffic to our website. Next, I assessed our inventory levels and fulfillment center capacity. While we had sufficient stock for most items, specific high demand products were at risk of stockouts. To address this, I implemented a 3-pronged approach. Number 1 was prioritization. We prioritized picking and packing orders for in-stock products to ensure on-time delivery. The second one was communication. So we proactively communicated with the customers who placed orders for potential out-of-stock items. We offered them estimated delivery timelines, alternative product suggestions, and transparent explanations about the situation. The third one was resource optimization. We temporarily increased staffing in the fulfillment center by offering overtime opportunities to existing employees and collaborating with temporary staffing agencies. This allowed us to process orders more efficiently. The result was that by implementing these actions, we were able to fulfill the majority of the orders on time, and for those experiencing delays, we maintained open communication with customers. This proactive approach helped us maintain customer satisfaction despite the unexpected demand surge. In fact, our customer service team received positive feedback for their transparent communication during this period. Now, one thing which I want to share here is if you look at Amazon, which is by far the world's largest e-com fulfillment company, when you look at their website during the time of, let's say, Thanksgiving or any other peak season, they are very, very transparent about their delivery times. And this is a classical example as well, which kind of jives with that, because then you are not offended or you are not frustrated as a customer, because they tell you that, okay, this item normally we will deliver you the next day because you are on, let's say, on Amazon Prime. But because of the peak season, this item will take 10 days to deliver or 15 days to deliver. And normally their approach is to undercommit and over deliver, which is fantastic. So if they will tell you 15 days, the item will most likely reach in 10 days. And this also highlights some of those key points, especially things like adaptability. It was an unexpected demand surge, but the example shows a very nice story on how that adaptability was demonstrated. Secondly, it's communication. And you can see in the example, it's clearly spelling out that you highlighted, especially to the customers who were at the risk of stockouts proactively, and you kept them in the loop while your delivery times were coming back on track. And of course, problem solving and collaboration is pretty evident because it was all about problem solving and working with different teams, collaborating to get more staff, although temporarily, to manage that situation. So now let's look at the next example from fast-moving consumer goods, or FMCGs. While working as a supply chain analyst at a leading beverage company, we faced a potential disruption due to a major tropical storm impacting a key supplier located in a coastal region. This supplier provided essential ingredients for one of the most popular beverage lines. Now let's move to the task. My role was to assess the potential impact of the storm and develop contingency plans to minimize disruption to production and ensure continued availability of the product on store shelves. Now let's look at the actions. First, I contacted the supplier to understand the situation and potential delays. We also assessed our current inventory levels of the specific ingredient. Secondly, I explored alternative sourcing options. This involved contacting other approved suppliers and evaluating their capabilities to meet our needs in terms of quality, quantity, and lead time. Thirdly, I collaborated with the production team to analyze our production schedule and adjust it if necessary. We explored options like prioritizing production of other beverage lines or potentially extending lead times for the impacted product. Finally, I communicated the situation and potential outcomes to various stakeholders, including the purchasing department, sales team, and key customers. Now, the result was that due to our proactive approach, we were able to secure alternative sourcing before the storm caused significant damage to our primary supplier's operations. While there was a slight delay in the production, we were able to maintain stock on store shelves and avoid product shortages. Clear communication with our customers also helped manage expectations and minimize any potential disruptions in their sales. Now, this example highlights two other key points on top of the previous example. Number one is risk management. In this case, you can see that the moment this person realized that there was a risk of their primary supplier going out of operations because of the storm, they immediately moved and found alternative sourcing options. So this is an excellent example of risk management, and further to that, it's also an excellent example of sourcing expertise. You need to be a sourcing expert, or you need to understand how sourcing works in order to manage a disruption like this. So it highlights not only your ability to adapt to the situation, collaborate and communicate with the customers, which was also highlighted in the previous example, but on top of that, this is a fantastic example of risk management and sourcing expertise. Now let's look at the last and final example, which is from the world of retail. So let's start with the situation again. At my previous retail clothing store, we experienced a significant discrepancy between our inventory management system and the actual stock levels on the shelves. Sounds familiar? This discrepancy caused stockouts for popular items and frustrated customers who couldn't find their desired sizes and styles. As the inventory control specialist, I was tasked with investigating the cause of the inventory inaccuracy and implementing solutions to prevent future occurrences. My main goal was to ensure accurate inventory data and improve customer satisfaction. Now, if you have worked in any supply chain role, especially the ones which are related to inventory management, or if you have worked in a warehouse, you would probably know that inventory record accuracy, or IRA, is one of the most critical KPIs. If your IRA is bad or anything even less than 99.5%, that's not acceptable. And this is an example which is highlighting you how this person was able to solve that issue. So there were 4 actions I took. Number 1, investigation. I conducted a physical inventory count across all store departments to identify the extent of their discrepancy. I then compared the physical count results with the system data to pinpoint potential causes like inaccurate scanning, receiving errors, or shrinkage. Second thing I did was data analysis. I analyzed the historical sales data to identify high demand items and implemented cycle counting procedures to focus on those items more frequently. The third thing I did was process improvement. We collaborated with the receiving team to improve receiving procedures, including a more thorough inspection of incoming shipments and immediate system updates upon receiving. And finally, I did some staff training. I conducted training sessions for the store associates on proper inventory management practices, including accurate scanning techniques and reporting discrepancies. The result was that by implementing these measures, we were able to significantly improve inventory accuracy. Cycle counting procedures ensured timely identification and correction of discrepancies. Improved receiving procedures minimized errors at the source. Additionally, staff training empowered associates to contribute to accurate inventory management. This resulted in fewer stockouts, improved product availability, and a more positive customer experience on the shopping floor. Now, there are a few things which are worth calling out in this example on top of some of the strengths which are shown in the previous examples. Number one here is data analysis. In this case, you can see that this person looked at the data in a lot of detail. He did a physical count, then he compared with the system's data or whatever the system was reporting on inventory. And then he went through all of those details to find out what were the root causes of the discrepancy. The other thing which is called out in this example is process improvement. He did not only call out the problem and solve the problem there, but he also took that learning to improve the practices. Like, for example, he implemented cycle counts for high demand items. So that's something which was a process improvement because that was not being done before. And finally, the other key skill which is being called out here is training and development. So he not only solved the problem, improved the processes, but at the same time, he conducted trainings to upskill the associates in his organization on practices such as frequent cycle counting, inventory management, and so forth. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have also made videos on job interview questions like what is your biggest achievement, or what do you do when you don't know the answer to a job interview question? How do you manage that situation? So you can watch those videos by clicking over here. Keep watching.